I never thought my life would reach the point where I would look at my husband, the man I had promised forever to, and realize that the two men who were standing beside me in that moment were the only reason I was still standing at all. It sounds like a strange confession, one of those things people whisper about behind closed doors, but life has a way of twisting you into places you never expect. You think you know what love and loyalty look like until the day they're tested, until the day someone else shows up to hold you together when the person you trusted the most is the very one breaking you apart. I met my husband, Daniel, in college. He was charming in the way boys at 21 can be, with a crooked smile and an energy that made me feel like I was the only woman in the world who mattered. He pursued me hard, flowers on my dorm step, long drives in his beat-up Ford where we'd talk until dawn. He was the kind of man who said he'd do anything for me, and back then, I believed him without hesitation. We got married 2 weeks after I graduated. It wasn't a shotgun wedding or anything like that, we just thought we were invincible, that love was enough. For the first few years, it was. We were broke, we were young, but we were happy in the way only two people can be when they have nothing but each other. We shared a tiny apartment in Nashville, worked long hours, and dreamed big. I believed in him, in us, in the promises we whispered late at night when the rest of the world was quiet. I thought nothing could touch us. But somewhere between the years of bills, jobs that never quite panned out, and the silent disappointments we didn't know how to name, something shifted. He stopped looking at me the way he used to, and I stopped laughing at his jokes. We fought more than we made love. He worked late, and I convinced myself it was just the weight of responsibility, not another woman's perfume I sometimes smelled on his shirts. Marriage has a way of teaching you how much denial you're capable of. The two men who would one day stand by me came into my life years apart, without me knowing how crucial they would become. The first was Ethan. I met him at work when I landed a job as a marketing assistant at a mid-sized firm downtown. Ethan wasn't like Daniel at all. Where my husband was restless and quick to anger, Ethan was steady, calm, with a kind of quiet humor that put people at ease. He had been with the company for almost a decade, knew everyone's name, and had this way of making me feel like my ideas mattered. He was older by 6 years, already married himself, but he became a friend, the kind you look forward to seeing at the office just to swap stories about the weekend or complain about the boss. Then there was Caleb, my brother. Caleb was 4 years younger than me, and while we'd always been close as kids, life had pulled us in different directions once I got married. He'd stayed in Kentucky, working at our uncle's auto shop, while I was busy trying to build a life in Nashville with Daniel. But Caleb had this loyalty in his bones, the kind of devotion you only find in family. Whenever I called, he answered. Whenever I needed him, he showed up. The night it all came to a head, those two men were the only ones who kept me from falling apart completely. It started with a phone call. I had been cooking dinner, pasta with homemade sauce, because I'd been trying to patch things up with Daniel the old-fashioned way, through small gestures and patience. My phone buzzed on the counter, and when I saw the name flash across the screen, my stomach dropped. It was a woman's name. Not just any woman, but the same one I had seen commenting on his social media posts, the one he had brushed off as, just a coworker. I didn't want to answer, but my hand moved before I could stop it. The voice on the other end was trembling. She told me she didn't know how else to say it, but that she thought I deserved to know. She and my husband had been seeing each other for almost a year. He had promised her things, taken her on trips I thought he couldn't afford, told her he was leaving me. She said she couldn't keep living a lie. I don't remember what I said back. I just remember dropping the phone, the sauce burning in the pan, and my knees giving way beneath me. I sat there on the kitchen floor with the smell of garlic and betrayal filling the air until I couldn't breathe. I called Ethan first. I don't know why. Maybe because he was the only person outside my family who knew how unhappy I had been. I couldn't call my mother, she would have said, "I told you so." I couldn't call a friend, they would have gossiped. But Ethan listened. He didn't try to fix it, didn't tell me to calm down. He just said, "I'm on my way." Then I called Caleb. My little brother, who had no reason to drop everything and drive 2 hours on a work night, but did anyway. His voice was tight with anger, but all he said was, "Hang on, sis. I'll be there soon." By the time Daniel walked through the door that night, they were both already there. Ethan was sitting on the couch with a glass of water waiting for me. Caleb was pacing the living room, fists clenched like he was ready to fight. I was sitting in the armchair, hollowed out, eyes swollen from crying. When Daniel opened the door, his face froze. He hadn't expected witnesses. He thought he could charm me out of the truth, or gaslight me until I doubted what I'd heard. But there were 2 men standing by me now, 2 men who had nothing to gain and everything to lose by being there, and their presence made it impossible for him to play his usual games. I remember the silence most of all. The way he looked at them, then at me, and realized he couldn't talk his way out of it. For once, I wasn't alone in the wreckage of our marriage. For once, someone else was holding me upright while the world came crashing down. That night changed everything.